Tonight, warnings to all homeowners about preventing fire disasters and testing for South Australia's Tesla battery underway.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. The MFS says lives could be lost this winter, with residents again being encouraged to clean and check their chimneys and flues before lighting a fire. Over the past 3 years, South Australian Emergency Services have responded to more than 88 chimney fires, all of which they say could have been avoided.
As the cold chill sets in and we start lighting the fire, authorities are warning about the hidden danger of chimney fires.
Once combustible materials ignite within a house, the fire can spread rapidly and put householders' lives at risk.
Luckily, this was a controlled demonstration, but the MFS says it's similar situations to this one that can end up costing someone's life.
The MFS recommends that householders get their flues and chimneys inspected for damage and cleaned by a qualified tradesperson annually.
Over time, soot can build up in chimneys and if not regularly cleaned or checked can catch fire and quickly spread through the flue and into the house.
Chimneys should be cleaned once a year. If you're using unseasoned wood, the likelihood of soot build-up is greater.
After the recent number of fires across the region, the MFS says it's important to dispose hot ash in a metal bucket instead of a household bin. They're also encouraging to keep combustible materials like clothes and curtains at least 2 metres away from a fire.
We also recommend that householders ensure that they have working smoke alarms and also a fire safety escape plan.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
2 men have been taken to the Port Pirie Hospital by ambulance following an incident at Risdon Park South this afternoon. Authorities arrived on Barry Street at around 2:45, finding a man with a laceration to his hand, with the suspect arrested a short distance away. Police say the parties are known to one another. Investigations into the alleged incident are continuing and anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. South Australia's big battery is tipped to get even bigger with expansion tests underway for the next few weeks. If testing goes well, the storage system at Jamestown would expand by 50% to improve the reliability of the electricity grid, with extra power possibly online within weeks.
A large-scale test run to make sure everything is ready to go live before the world's largest battery becomes 50% bigger.
The testing of this is just happening as we speak, probably go for a few weeks just to make sure that it does exactly what it's meant to do.
$50 million of state government funds put into the expansion. The extra 50 megawatts will provide not just an emergency power but stabilise the storage grid.
Big solar farms and big wind farms have big storage as well, so that we can turn that clean, intermittent renewable energy.
Taxpayers may also reap the benefits with hopes it will keep electricity prices down.
It'll allow South Australia to have more wind and more solar in the future, which will help keep power prices down.
Experts say South Australia is leading the way, with other states opting to follow suit.
We learn how South Australia is doing what it's doing, so that in future when there's more wind and solar in places like Victoria and Queensland, we can do things right and learn the good lessons.
Following the 2016 statewide blackout, experts say it's imperative this big battery is stabilised. There's a predicted scorching summer ahead, which would again sap our energy reserves.
Not managing it has caused us the blackouts and the high prices that we've seen in previous years. We are determined to manage it properly.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A Port Lincoln woman has been charged with trafficking a controlled drug after patrols yesterday swooped on a vehicle and found evidence of drug dealing. Detectives were called to the driver's house just before 7:30 last night, where they allegedly found methamphetamine, fantasy and more than $24,000 in cash. Anyone with information is encouraged to get in contact with police. Port Lincoln Zara Cell branch is preparing to reopen its doors tonight for the first time since the pandemic hit. The club hosting a sold-out welcome back dinner to celebrate this special milestone.
It's been a long and lonely 3 months, but Port Lincoln's RSL is ready to roar back into life.
The RSL to see that it's part of the wider community, which is coming back to life here in Port Lincoln. I think that's just a great thing.
During lockdown, the building went under a major redevelopment, ripping up the old timber walls, the structure gutted, making way for a fresh new look.
It even smells better. It's lovely. No, we're really looking forward to people coming to see our museum, to come and enjoy the meals.
The old 1960s bar also got an upgrade with a special nod to the country's military past. The walls painted gunmetal grey, the same colour as the Victorian Cross.
So hopefully we're going to stay afloat in the future by people coming in here.
The branch being flipped on its head in an attempt to attract more members to the hall, with fears that if numbers don't improve, they may have to close the doors permanently. The club now thinking outside the box, offering Thursday and Friday night dinner.
It's somewhere for them to come. We're close to right in the CBD. So let's support these people by offering that service up to them.
Volunteers will run off their feet today, making last-minute touches before the grand reopening tonight for a sold-out crowd. More than 45 eager customers expected to flood through the doors.
Members haven't been here for months, so they'll be able to get round, have a beer, sit down and be COVID safe and enjoy the club again.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Well, I'm sure it'll be a great night. Still to come tonight, major upgrades for public parks in the Spencer Gulf, and the next generation learns about a critical natural resource. Welcome back. Broken Hill City Council is eyeing off 2 of the town's outdoor areas for major upgrades. The O'Neill Sporting Complex and Queen Elizabeth Park look set to receive a facelift.
Some big plans for 2 of Broken Hill's major recreational areas.
We're really excited about what the future holds in terms of how we're looking to redevelop the city's infrastructure.
If council votes to take a state government stimulus loan of $10 million, the revamped projects of O'Neill Sports Complex and Queen Elizabeth Park will be kick-started. At the Queen Elizabeth, upgrades would include a new car park, playground and toilet block.
Come hell or high water, this particular project, the redevelopment of Queen Elizabeth Park, will go ahead, and as soon as probably over the next month, once we get that plan of management approved, we'll be able to get into that work very quickly.
The work would coincide with the relocation of the city's popular picnic train as it moves from its old spot on Blen Street.
It will be a better venue, and if the public stands behind us as far as coming down here with us, it should be ideal.
At the O'Neill Sports Complex, the idea is to create a sporting hub featuring cricket nets, a soccer pitch, a rugby field, as well as a viewing amphitheatre.
Really being able to give those amenities the uplift they deserve, being able to put lights in there, after 30 or 40 years of the current lights that have been there, and resurfacing those areas for cricket.
The city's councillors will decide next week whether to access the state funding to support the projects. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Construction at Whyala's Ada Ryan Gardens is almost complete, with council adding new light fixtures across the parklands. The $150,000 project creating a safer nightlife environment for locals and an impressive feature to look at.
Let there be light. Once a dark parkland, now shining bright. Whyalla City Council working hard, improving the safety throughout Whyala's popular Ada Ryan Gardens.
There was previously not much public lighting, and so Council set out to increase safety and nighttime usage by providing some path lighting.
87 lights are currently being installed along the edge of the pathways, set in level with the pavers to ensure safety for those who visit.
We decided to go with in-ground path lighting because it would impact the events that are carried out here a lot less than if there were bollards or something above the ground.
This project costs around the $150,000 mark, so that's including the lighting but also a bit of a power upgrade that we have to do as well.
The project, Council's latest work in aiding to the improvement and attraction of the city. Local contractors working hard to finish the job.
ALEP was the main contractor, but they've also partnered with CS Maintenance to get this work done.
The 3-month project is set to be complete by the end of this week. Locals encouraged to come and visit and witness the impressive effects created by lights strategically placed to bounce off the tree branches.
I've come along at night to do a bit of testing with the lighting, and it looks quite impressive in my opinion.
It's great to come down at night and see the path lit up like a bit of a runway.
Sophia Contigonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Police are calling on the Mid-North community for help to identify these items recovered at a property in Jamestown. Between May the 17th and the 24th, police allege several properties were broken into with items stolen. Following investigations, patrols raided a Jamestown home and uncovered a large amount of antiques. A 51-year-old Jamestown woman and 42-year-old Peterborough man were arrested and charged with theft. They're due to appear in court at a later date. SA Water is exploring options to possibly use recycled water from the Port Augusta East Wastewater Treatment Plant. They're calling on businesses and the wider community to have their say on how the water could be used within the city. Anyone with proposals on how it could be used can fill out a survey online. The Minister for Mining and Energy has made a visit to Port Augusta's Seaview College to speak with students about water security. Students learnt about water scarcity and the impacts of our most valuable natural resource.
Learning from their teachers and now a lesson from a minister.
Understanding how the world works and understanding some of the real life, natural world pressures that we need to deal with is an important part of a healthy future.
Combining some of school's staple lessons designed to underpin some of our country's toughest issues.
And through the process of investigation, they learn. So this is a combination of history and geography and science, all blended into one.
The Minister seeing firsthand what students have been learning in the classroom.
A class project that we did last year about water scarcity and the impact that it has on the land, and all about how we can use water better.
Able to share his knowledge with the class.
It's a very important part of our community and how it helps everyone and the livestock and everything. I learnt that there are many different rivers and about how important it is.
The principal eager to continue through education to expand the knowledge of our future generation.
Today's students are tomorrow's leaders and decision makers, so we need to empower them to develop a worldview so that future generations can keep on enjoying this beautiful environment that we currently have.
Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Copper Coast Council rolls out the welcome mat for people to come and visit, and students in Port Augusta given a special tour. Hello again. Regional residents are being urged to book a holiday in their own backyard to help boost the local economy. The Copper Coast Mayor describes the cluster of Yorke Peninsula towns as an easy bucket list getaway.
Unlocking the full potential of tourism in our region, these quaint towns are the jewel in the Yorke Peninsula's crown. Now visitors are urged to come support these local businesses.
Yeah, tourism's really important for us here on the Copper Coast. We have a great deal to offer, but the tourists coming give us a real economic boost.
The Copper Coast Council eager to entice travellers to return to the region with lots on offer.
Hasn't been as many around due to the COVID-19, but we're really looking forward to welcoming people back and showing all that we have to offer here on the Copper Coast.
The state government launching a $2.1 billion Welcome Back campaign to encourage South Australians to not travel interstate but instead opt for the regions. Numbers are still lacking, but experts are anticipating a surge in tourists leading into the warmer months.
Now, after a period of discouraging them from visiting, and we look to benefit greatly from the ban on international travel and the other travel restrictions that are in place.
Moonta and Wallaroo recognised for their pristine coastlines and summer activities, but this mayor says there's a lot of other activities to do during winter.
So many different activities, you know, we have putt-putt, there's a beautiful golf course here, there's just an array of opportunities and things to do.
More information can be found on the Yorke Peninsula's tourism website. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Agricultural shows across South Australia have been offered a new lifeline, with the federal government pledging $36 million in support for shows recovering from COVID-19. Depending on the normal amount of attendees, local carnivals can receive reimbursements between $10,000 and $70,000. They'll also be able to claim unrecoverable money spent on events which were forced to be cancelled. Students from Port Augusta's Carlton School have had the chance to talk on air at Yumawarra Radio. Teachers hope the experience will expand the children's public speaking skills and could spark a passion for broadcast.
3 eager young students ready to broadcast for the region to hear.
They were really excited to be chosen to come to the radio and being able to give them an experience and an opportunity to come and speak confidently.
Teachers aiming to build on their talents.
The reason we're here is to bring the children down to expose them to some media, but also to expose them to like public speaking, to try to bring out the best of their vocabulary.
Something the students are passionate about inside the school doors and outside of them.
They've been practicing at assemblies, speaking in front of people. Sometimes they're very nervous, but they always, show a lot of confidence and resilience when they do make a mistake.
Sharing what they love most about their school.
My favourite part about school is that the teachers tell us beautiful topics and exciting ones. And they tell us about our grandparents a long time ago.
And some stories they've written.
It is about a girl who wants to help robots and show that humans and robots are equal.
Along with some journals from the weekend.
I went over to my cousin's house and I played with him in that, and then he came over to my house and slept.
Yumawarra will host a trio of different students each fortnight from the school. Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Broken Hill region has drawn the attention of some Sydney film and television producers. The Silver City and its surrounding landscape sparking inspiration for potential projects to be shot in the area.
Lights, camera, action, the Far West region is the star.
We could shoot it as America. It's been recently shot as Afghanistan, as well as Broken Hill itself and fictional outback towns. So, it's not going to fit every story, but there's just so many stories that we can tell here.
A couple of entertainment producers visited the Far West this week, scoping out places like Silverton, Menindee and Broken Hill. For Aaron Bush, the region is a familiar sight. Last year, he worked behind the scenes on the movie Buckley's Chance, which is now in post-production, venturing back to see what else the outback area has to offer.
We're working on many different projects, from overseas projects to Australian projects. So we're always looking for locations, and we had a couple of meetings with people up here that I didn't get last time.
The Broken Hill and surrounding regions have a strong movie and TV history. From the setting of Mad Max 2 and Priscilla Queen of the Desert to recent films like Locusts and the Wake in Fright remake.
All it does for me is want me to go back to my writers and back to other creative producers and say, you need to get out to Broken Hill. It's got everything you need. Plus it's got a vibe that's just incredible.
Pre-production is set to resume in the coming weeks on a new show about the RFDS, which will be based in Broken Hill. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have the weather with Britt. Hello again. Now let's take a look at what the weather's doing for your weekend. Here's Britt Aylen.
Thanks, Louise. After a cold morning, we saw mostly average temperatures around the region. Port Augusta and Woodner both recording highs of 19 degrees. Port Pirie 18, Kadina and Cleve 17, Broken Hill, Whyalla, Port Lincoln and Coffin Bay all reaching 16 today, with a top of 15 at Clare and Adelaide. Taking a look at today's satellite images, we can see patchy cloud about the coast of South Australia with mostly clear skies elsewhere, all associated with a band of high pressure. Moving on to tomorrow, let's see what Saturday has in store, starting with the Gulf waters. Variable winds at around 10 knots with seas below 1 metre, swells south to southwesterly. A sunny day expected at Port Lincoln, looking at a top of 18 degrees. Cleve, sunny and 17. A sunny day for Woodner as well with a high of 19. Whyalla, sunny and 18 tomorrow. Another cold morning ahead for Port Augusta with light morning frost. Warming up to a sunny day though with a top of 19 degrees. Kadina, mostly sunny and 16. Sunny at Port Pirie, a high of 17. Clare, partly cloudy and 14. Broken Hill also partly cloudy, looking at a top of 14 degrees. And those sunny conditions are set to continue into Sunday with a little bit of cloud about the lower Eyre Peninsula. Port Augusta and Woodner both with a forecast high of 18 degrees. Whyalla and Port Lincoln 17. Port Pirie and Kadina both 16. Broken Hill 13. Taking a quick look ahead into next week, and it's looking to be another sunny day on Monday with maximum temperatures in the mid to late teens. Tuesday, showers forecast about the lower Eyre Peninsula, fine and partly cloudy elsewhere, apart from Broken Hill where it's looking to be sunny yet again. And Louise, that is the weekend weather. It's back to you.
Lovely, thank you so much for that, Britt. And that wraps up your local news this week. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you later with updates. Good night.